The Lord bless you and keep you on this beautiful day in early spring, in early June. Maybe as a child you remember how we would make a church, and this is a church, and this is the steeple, and you open the church and here are the people, right? You see the people there? I think sometimes when we think of church, I think most often we think of a building. We think of an institution. We think of bishops and popes and priests and sacraments and things that we do, what it takes to be a member, how we support the church. It's very much a visible community. One of the weaknesses of maybe the sense of the church as a communion is that it doesn't hold forth for us how we are a people that are political, meaning that we are people who interact with one another, that we as a community need organization. In the early church, the early apostles were distressed that there were so many needs in the church that they were not able to meet them, that they chose men to be deacons. Deacons who were sent to assist the presbyters, the priests, in carrying out the mission of the church. And so when we think of the church, the model of a church as an institution, we think of the ways in which God has been present to us in real people. You know, Christ speaks to us through those who are our leaders, through the bishops as they teach, through the Pope with his encyclicals, when the preacher proclaims the word, when a catechist is teaching catechism. But all of that as part of an institution means that we are people working together to bring about a common good. We are hierarchical. You know, we as a church, whether we're in the East or the West, speak of the primacy of bishops leading a church, and they have their priests who work closely with them. We have institutions like colleges and seminaries where we are, as institutions, carrying on the message of Christ. So the institutional church, as often as it gets slammed sometimes, and maybe sometimes deservingly so because we get caught up in the machinery of the church, as an institution it is vital for the life of the world. Consider this. The Catholic Church operates more hospitals in the world than any other religion or denomination. Think of the thousands and thousands of Catholic hospitals, institutions that flow out of the gospel, that send us to the corners of the earth to care for the sick and the needy, to care for those who are wounded, carrying out the ministry of Christ, the ministry of his healing and of the consolation that he brings to those who struggle. And so we have this model of a church as an organization. We never want to forget it has a mission of proclaiming the gospel. It has a mission of building up the body of Christ. It has a mission of bringing healing to those who are sick. That it finds its strength in its prayer with one another, in the communion that we share with one another. But it is an institution. There are things that we believe. There are things that the church asks of us. Things that we even speak of membership in the church. Membership is something we do in human organizations. But we are a human organization which has a divine spirit at its heart. And so we can't dismiss the institution just saying, I'm just going to be me and Jesus. We need community. We need structure. Lest without structure, we can see how fragile our world becomes and how things kind of fall apart when we don't have good leadership that gives us the strength to speak with one voice and to teach with authority and to guide God's people, the community of faith, in these very troubled times. So I invite you today to think about your relationship to the church, your membership, how you come to know the church through reading the scriptures, how you find leadership from the priest and bishop of a diocese, how we look to the Pope as a as a unique symbol of unity in the life of the church. We are an institution with a divine mission to proclaim the gospel of Jesus Christ. So that is our next image. We spoke about ourselves as a community of grace yesterday, today as an institution, 2 days ago the Herald of Grace, and initially a community of disciples. All of these images begin to help us see that elephant. We begin to see all of its facets that give it the beauty which is the mystical body of Christ. May God bless you and your loved ones today and always.